Your 6-year-old has melted down at the swing set, in front of the other parents. They've thrown a wooden block at another child. They've called you a name they've never used before.
If you're listening, something at home has shifted. Maybe recently, maybe a long time ago. Welcome, I'm Remy. This is CoParentSpace, the calm space for parents and children living between two homes. What you'll hear is grounded in attachment science and clinical research. It isn't therapy, and it isn't medical or legal advice. If you or your child are struggling, please talk to someone who can help in person. This is a quiet place to think. It doesn't take sides. Here's today's piece.
Sunday afternoon, your 6-year-old has melted down at the swing set, in front of the other parents. They've thrown a wooden block at another child. They've called you a name they've never used before. They're now lying on the grass with their face in the crook of their arm, crying in a way that's reached the point where the breath is catching. You're standing about 3 feet away. You're aware of the other parents watching. You're aware of the 8 different versions of yourself you could be in this moment. The strict version, the gentle version, the embarrassed version, the version that gets back in the car and goes home. None of them feel right. What you're not aware of in the middle of it is that the meltdown isn't about the swing set. The meltdown isn't about the other child. The meltdown is your child trying to tell you something they can't tell you in words. Today's episode is about that. The behavior that arrives without an obvious cause. The acting out that doesn't fit the trigger. The meltdown, the withdrawal, the sudden anger, the regression. What it actually is, what it isn't, and how to read it. Behavior is communication. A 6-year-old's prefrontal cortex isn't built yet. It won't be built for years. The part of the brain that lets adults name what they're feeling and then choose what to do with it isn't online for them in the way it is for you. What this means in practice: when a child is feeling something large, anxious, scared, sad, overwhelmed, angry, confused, grieving, they can't always reach into the feeling, identify it, and produce the sentence, "I am feeling X," especially under 6, often well past that age. So the feeling has to go somewhere. It can't go into words because the words aren't available. It can't be sat with quietly because the regulation system isn't built. It has to come out somehow, and it comes out as behavior. The block at the swing set is the only language your child has, at 6, on a Sunday afternoon, for whatever they've been holding for the last 3 hours, or 3 days, or 3 months. This is what behavior is. Behavior is information. The behavior is the child telling you something. The job isn't to punish the message. The job is to read it. What's usually underneath? When the behavior doesn't fit the trigger, something is underneath. Across thousands of child-parent interactions, certain pings show up over and over. Transitions: Sunday afternoon, the handover hour, the return from school, the moment of getting in the car. Children's nervous systems take longer than adults to move between contexts. What looks like acting out at handover is often the child's body trying to manage a shift it doesn't have words for. Sunday afternoon meltdowns are almost always about Sunday afternoon, not about the parent in front of them. Tiredness, hunger, illness incoming, the boring 3. A child who hasn't eaten, hasn't slept well, or is coming down with something physical will produce behavior that looks like a character flaw and is actually a body problem. The first thing to rule out, before reading the behavior for emotional meaning, is the physical baseline. Something that happened earlier today. The school day that was harder than they reported, the friend who said something, the disappointment they didn't mention.
Children carry the events of their day in their bodies, often for hours, and release them at the first safe moment. That safe moment is usually you, in your kitchen at 5 p.m. Something that's been building for weeks. The slow accumulation. A new sibling at the other home. A teacher they don't like. A school change. A friendship pattern. The gradual realization that the family they have isn't the family they remember. These build slowly, and they release suddenly. The Tuesday afternoon meltdown about a sock is sometimes about the sock. More often, it's about the 7 weeks of buildup that the sock happened to be the last drop of. The thing they can't name yet. Grief, anxiety, identity confusion, fear about something they don't have words for. Module 14, Article 01, Your Child is Grieving Too, covers what grief looks like in children. The point here is that the unspoken thing has to come out somewhere. And behavior is the most common somewhere. You're not always going to know which of these it is. Often you'll never know. That's okay. The reading it is more important than the diagnosing it. What this means for what you do. If behavior is information, then the response to behavior isn't primarily about correcting the behavior. It's about receiving the information and meeting what's underneath.
This isn't the same as letting the behavior pass without response. The block thrown at another child has consequences. The yelling at the parent has a boundary. The behavior itself can be addressed clearly. What changes is what you do alongside the response to the behavior. What that looks like is the first move is regulation. A child who has lost regulation can't learn from a consequence. The first thing isn't the lecture, it's the return to baseline. Holding, breathing, going somewhere quieter, lowering the stimulus level. Address the behavior after the child can hear it, not during the dysregulation. Address the behavior without scripting the explanation. We don't throw blocks at people is the behavior message. Tell me what happened is the read the information move. You can do both. They're separate. Don't conflate them by saying, we don't throw blocks because you're upset. The first sentence is the rule. The second sentence reads the information.
Don't moralize the read. When you read the information, you're trying to understand what your child is communicating. The reading isn't a verdict. You're tired and that's making it hard to be at the playground is reading. You're being like this because you're spoiled at your other house is moralizing disguised as reading. The first helps, the second damages. Stay curious about what's underneath, even when the behavior is hard. The child screaming, "I hate you" at bedtime isn't usually communicating, "I hate you." They're communicating something is unbearable, and you're the safe person to release it on. Being the safe person isn't always comfortable. It's also a sign of attachment working, not a sign of attachment failing. Notice patterns over weeks, not over evenings. Most individual behavior events are noise. The patterns are signal. A Tuesday meltdown is data. A Tuesday meltdown for 4 weeks in a row is a pattern that's pointing at something. Track loosely, in your head, what's happening when. The information builds into a picture. When behavior is more than communication.
Most of the time, what looks like acting out is the child's regulation system doing its developmentally normal work. The reading the information approach is the right approach. A smaller number of times, the behavior is signaling something that needs more than parental holding. The patterns that warrant clinical attention.
Behavior that's escalating week over week despite consistent, calm responses. Aggression that has become directed at a specific sibling, pet, person, and is causing harm. Behavior that has fundamentally changed who the child is, sustained for more than 4 to 6 weeks. New behavior combined with other changes: sleep, appetite, mood, withdrawal from things that used to bring joy. Anything that signals self-harm or that the child wants to hurt themselves. A behavior pattern that was present before the separation but has intensified significantly since. These aren't the everyday meltdowns and dysregulation that fill normal parenting. They're patterns that warrant a clinician's attention. The first move is the child's doctor. Articles in Module 16, Special Needs and Neurodivergence, cover what's underneath some of these patterns when they're sustained. Module 14, Article 07, the therapy question, covers when therapy is the right next step. You aren't escalating if you bring in clinical support. You're noticing that your child needs more than what one parent can offer, and you're making sure they get it. Closing. Sunday afternoon. The swing set. The block on the grass. The child face down in the crook of their arm. What you do when you finally cross the 3 feet between you and them isn't the strict version, the embarrassed version, or the version that gets back in the car. You sit down on the grass. Not close enough to crowd, close enough that they know you're there. You don't say anything for a while. You let the breath catch and recatch and catch and even out. When their breath has come back to something close to normal, you put a hand on their back. That was hard, you say. They don't respond. That's fine. The information has been received, even if they don't know what they were trying to tell you. The block will be picked up. The other child will get a brief, age-appropriate apology in a few minutes. The drive home will be quiet. They'll fall asleep in the car. You'll never quite know what the meltdown was about. That isn't necessary. What was necessary was that someone, in the middle of it, recognized that it was about something, that it wasn't who they are, that it was instead a 6-year-old trying to communicate with the only tools they had, that something they couldn't name was too much. The behavior wasn't the problem. The behavior was the message, and the message has been heard.
That's today's piece. If it helped, the full written version, and more like it, are at CoParentSpace.com. Be gentle with yourself. I'll be here next time.